Hey guys, I have another Ballerina book review for you today, and I actually have all three physical copies right here. So I'm going to go from my least favorite to my most favorite. We'll just get started. This is going to be totally unedited, so this is just me rambling. Put the video on double speed. If you really want to know about these books, I'm just going to be talking about them. So yeah, just whatever comes out of my head. Caveat first, I am a really picky reader. I read a lot. I read fiction and nonfiction. I read a lot of, not a lot of history, but I read history books. And I'm really critical of word choice, sentence structure, paragraph structure, and if there's an apostrophe out of place, I will let you know. Honestly, even though I'm pointing out the 10 things I hate about this book, I also enjoyed overall this other aspect. Okay, so this is called Love You, Hate You, Ballet School Confidential. I believe it's Charis Marsh, that's what it looks like. The picture on the front is a little, I feel like the picture's a little misleading because you are never going to stand at the bar in a tutu. And I don't know if you can tell, this girl has a short platter tutu on, so you can see all of her legs. And this girl has, it literally looks like a costume shop tutu. So not great. Not a great photo. But they look like they're strong dancers. Like I can see muscles, the correct kind of muscles. So I don't know why this not so great photo. So the format is different. It calls them on the back. Oh no, I thought it was going to call them like journal entries. So like each chapter starts with what would be like a Facebook post by each person. So the first character you meet is Caitlin, and her first post is, OMG, so excited to be going to this school. And then that chapter is about her. So you kind of see her on top, like, so excited, and then then we're going to get into just kind of what this book is, I guess. It's basically the worst of everything you can think of a ballet school. So I'm sure you can go to a dance school and there will be this rotten student who's maybe also really good, or maybe isn't. Or, there may I hope we're getting better at this, may once in a while be the kid with a serious eating disorder. Or, in here there's a girl who's a sugar addict. It's kind of funny. But also really sad. Like, she just lives on sugar. She weighs almost nothing, but she's obviously not healthy either. And I know there are directors who are mean. There are choreographers who are mean. I know once in a while a school will spend too little money on a uniform that's not flattering. You'll have drama around casting. You'll have students who are irresponsible, so they don't call in when they're sick. You'll have kids who get tense and are really bratty to their parents. Here's the thing. This book is all of those. All the people are pretty awful. They're very rude to their parents. They, at least most of the interactions that are written about in here are very negative. And then the parents just kind of back up, like, when the kid comes out of rehearsal and, complains about something and then says, gosh, Mom, you're so stupid, you won't get it. The mom ignores that and says, well, I'll go have a talk with the director. So, I don't know, just not being trained to be polite people. Their uniforms apparently are awful. The directors of the school are apparently wishy-washy and not very communicative, and then one of the main ballet masters is really rude, calls the kids out on how fat they are, how lazy they are, and not in a constructive way. And I'm a teacher. I'm a ballet teacher. And maybe I don't teach at a high caliber school, but I teach kids who work really hard on their competition material. And I know, like from my own experience as a dancer and also as a teacher, you can't get the best out of a kid with intimidation and shame. It just doesn't work. You end up with eating disorders and people who don't know how to be friends with each other. So this is just the worst of the ballet world, at least at the school level. She doesn't talk about the company that this school is tied to. I believe there are 4 books in the series. I don't think I'm going to bother with the others. It was interesting. It was a fast and a really, really fun read. I'll give it this. It was fun to read because this person knows ballet. She knows little details like, one character recognizes the point shoes of another character because she says, oh, those are Julia's, or whatever. She doesn't burn the edges of her ribbons. She just folds them over and stitches them. Like, that's a detail that, most people outside ballet aren't going to know. There were a bunch in here. I'll see if I can just find one really fast. So there is a live piano player in here. His name is George. That's also a job I have. So I have rarely been in situations where the teacher can treat the pianist the way this pianist was treated. So let me kind of set this up for you. They're taking a ballet class and the pianist says, hey, doesn't this class end at 3? And the teacher goes, this class ends when I say it does. If you want to leave, I'll turn a CD on. And the pianist is like, okay, no, I just wanted to check. Does it end at 3? I'm like, yeah. So at least for the most part, the way I've been treated as a pianist is usually my schedule is not that tight, and also being a ballet teacher, I know that, sometimes Grand Allegro can go over a minute or 2. It's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to go down to the office and say, that teacher went 5 minutes over. I need an extra 30 cents added to my paycheck. I'm not going to do that. And if the teacher goes over, I'll usually get, oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. And if I need to leave right on time, this was the case last semester, so that I can catch my train, I'll try and let the teacher know before class starts. And I'll say, hey, this class ends at 3:10. I have to go catch my train at 3:20. It's a 10-minute walk. Can you please watch and not go over? And that just kind of gives them a little clue, like, okay, can't go over today. And I've also, I think, once been in the situation where it got to be like 3:10, 3:13, and I stood up and I said, I'm so sorry, I have to go catch my train. And the teacher said, oh, my apologies. Go ahead, I'm so sorry. It just being polite and being professional with each other, especially in front of a room full of kids who are hoping to be professionals, eventually hoping to be teachers as well. So that was kind of a professional inaccuracy in here. But then, also the director telling a girl she's fat in the middle of a rehearsal, I don't know. So all the uglies of the ballet world, what was really disappointing is not a single character ever said, well, it's all worth it because I love ballet, or, well, maybe someday this will be worth it, or my dream is to get in this company, or I'll just get through this year because I love dancing so much, or when I was little, I just loved dancing. There's no love for the art form. There is never a time when the teacher says, you're expressing whatever it is the teacher says, whatever it is teachers say that's motivating. That never happens. It's all just the drama and the catfighting and the backbiting. Which is fascinating, it's definitely like brain candy or whatever. And the ballet accuracies, of course, are really entertaining to read about, but yeah, I don't know. So take that, decide whether or not you want to read it. Okay, next one. I didn't realize when I picked this up, Misty Copeland, Life in Motion, an Unlikely Ballerina. I didn't realize that this was the young readers edition, so this one is only, I put the cover on upside down. All right, it looks upside down, but it's just because I put the dust jacket on upside down. And it's only 186 pages. I think the full one is longer, but I don't know because I bought this one on accident. So this was really fascinating. I think this would be good for a young dancer, and especially with the conversations going around right now about dancers who are not white, Caucasian. This would be really encouraging for a dancer of color. I'm sure we're going to come up with a better way to put that. A non-white dancer, someone who isn't, I don't know. And I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth. I haven't practiced saying this to be sensitive, but I mean, everybody should read this so that they can understand the experience of someone who maybe didn't have it really easy. Like, the kids in this book are all so privileged. I think they're all white. Race is never mentioned. It's never brought up. So, I mean, and there's actually a black ballerina on the cover. I don't know why she's not wearing black flesh-colored tights. She's wearing pink tights, but I can see that her palms, like her hands, are black. That she has a black person's skin. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. This book just doesn't do anything with that. It doesn't point, and maybe that's good. It doesn't point out race in any way except to say that there are some Japanese transfer students, and just their interactions there. I don't know, so maybe that's good. Maybe actually this did a better job at that than I first gave it credit for. Anyway, back to this one. Really interesting to read Misty's story. It was actually nice to have a lot of details of her life kind of funneled down for a child, so I could get a lot of details really quickly. It'd be good for any dancer of any color to, it had some really nice pictures in it, to just learn about what one ballerina's journey was. Here she is dancing with Prince. How cool is that? I didn't realize that she had been severely underweight till she was almost 20, and that she actually had hormone therapy, and that was something that gave her those now famous Misty Copeland curves. I hadn't realized that there had been a medical intervention there. So yeah, really interesting. Lots of fun details on her life. She had a really, really rough childhood, in part because of how her mother handled relationships. And it was really neat to see how Misty saw that and kind of made a decision not to be that way. An example is I think it was when she was with ABT as a corps member, and she was offered a soloist spot with, oh gosh, I can't remember if it was Alvin Ailey or Harlem. I think it was Alvin Ailey. She was offered a spot as a soloist. And she said, I want to be a classical ballerina. And just in here, she says, I watched my mom try to solve problems by running away. I decided I wanted to stay with ABT and try and climb that mountain and accomplish something there instead of giving up and going to another mountain. And I think that she says that ended up being good. I'm pretty sure it was Alvin Ailey, because Alvin Ailey folded in the next couple of years and she wouldn't have had a job. So I think that was interesting how she took that challenge in her childhood and that example. It's really hard not to follow your parents' example. And she made a conscious decision to change that. So just a really good example of a role model for any young dancer. There was one other thing. Oh, so the way her very difficult childhood was written about, I think that was really well done for children. There were probably some other really harder, awful things that went with her situation that she doesn't write about in here, but I think they hit just the right amount of gravity for, hey, we lived in a hotel room. We lived on whatever we could get out of the vending machine. It was hard. I'm sure there were harder things, but I think it was set at just the right level for, a young reader. So, 8 to 15 maybe. And then after that, go ahead and grab the bigger one. I'm not sure yet if I want to go ahead. Maybe later. I'll put it on my Amazon book wish list and I'll go get the bigger version because I love biographies. I love ballet biographies. So maybe later I will get the bigger one and maybe just get some more details. And hopefully it'll have more pictures. I know you can't see these super well, but there aren't a lot of photos, but what's in here is just lovely. Her first time on point, her family, first time in partnering class. I don't know if you can see this, but look at that arabesque on, I think, an 11-year-old. That's an incredible shape. Like, I'll never have an arabesque like that. And I'm 33. Okay, last one, Michaela'S Prince. Wow, this one blew me away. I saw when she was featured on First Position, I saw a bunch of clips, but I read this and then I watched everything on her on YouTube, and she now has her own YouTube channel where I haven't explored that one a lot, and she doesn't, it's not like she posts really a bunch, but I think she just posts about her adventures being a ballerina. And she's currently, I believe, a soloist with, Danish National Ballet? Let's see if I can look really fast. Oh, she too said, like Misty, I want to be a classical ballerina. It's easier for dancers who do not have the typical white skin color to kind of get shoved off into, well, you'd be great for contemporary. Well, you should go join this company that has lots of brown people like you. Like, just kind of that, well, you belong in this category because of your skin color. And she said, no, I want to dance Swan Lake. I want to dance Don Quixote. And she just pushed and pushed for that. But she also pushed for, I want to wear brown tights that match my skin tone and shoes that match my tights. And I mean, you can look all over YouTube right now if you're following any of the conversation on this in the ballet world. Ballet West actually just put out a really, really awesome interview. I'll see if I can link that down below, where a ballerina goes into looking at herself in the mirror for the first time, wearing tights and shoes that actually match her skin tone, and saying she felt taller and more complete, less like she was kind of chopped in half. And tights were originally the idea behind tights was to look like, I'm actually wearing tights right now because I'm going to go do a workout after this, do a ballet class for myself. They were to make white skin look flawless, but on darker skin or just skin with different tones, they sometimes turn purple. I had a student, and for the longest time, back when I was a brand new teacher and just clueless and had no idea, and I always thought, like, she's washed her tights with something. They look purple. She didn't have purple tights. She had brown skin and tights the same color as mine. So there's that issue. But Michaela'S story is amazing. If you know anything about her at all, well, I'll summarize in case you don't. So she was an orphan. She was orphaned in Sierra Leone during the revolution that happened like 2003, 4, 5. Oh, she was born in 2005, I think. So she was sent to an orphanage. She has a skin condition called vitiligo. I may have said that wrong, but what it does for her is it gives her this, I think it's actually kind of pretty. It's this spray of little white spots, like inverted freckles almost. And I've always wanted freckles and I don't have any. So in that culture, that meant that there was something wrong with her and that she had bad spirits with her or something. So she was just never given the hope that she would eventually be adopted out of this orphanage. And one day, and if you YouTube her at all, you'll hear this story over and over and over and over. And she probably is a little tired of repeating it herself. But one day at the orphanage, some wind blew a magazine up against the gate. It had a ballerina on the front, and she looked at this ballerina, and she had no idea what ballet was, but she saw this glowing, beautiful, happy face, and she said, I want to be like that. That's what I'm going to do when I get adopted. So she does eventually get adopted, along with another little girl from the orphanage, and she shows this picture to her new American mom, and she gets put into ballet lessons, and she's just determined to do it. And the more she finds out about ballet, the more challenges, she's just more and more determined. She had people try to tell her, no, your skin's the wrong color. No, because you're black, your body type's going to change and your legs will be too big. You're too short, you're too, and if you watch videos of her, she's not skinny. She's not even like thin, but she is definitely athletic and muscular and beautiful. Kind of the similar challenges Misty Copeland had. She's not skinny, but she's beautiful to watch. She has a very exciting presence on stage. I'll see if I can link below. One of my favorites was a pas she did, Don Quixote. I'll link that down there too, because just amazing. yeah, sorry, I kind of ran out of steam, but just she has an amazing story. And she did it. She's basically achieved her dream of being a professional ballerina in a classical company. And I think there's another video I'll link where she's dancing one of the solos, one of the variations from the Swan Lake Pas de Trois, Act 1. And she's wearing the not princess, the crown, whatever the headpiece is, and like this white sparkly gold something. But the director allowed her to wear brown tights and brown shoes. So she fits in, and I don't know, it doesn't make her feel strange. I don't know, that's just something I need to start thinking about, because I do have a couple of students whose skin is close to Michaela'S, and I've just been thinking, between reading this book and Misty's book and listening to just the dialogue that's going on in the ballet world right now, trying to avoid yellow face as well as brown face or black face in our productions. I'm realizing I need to maybe talk to the lady who directs the school where I teach, and I need to say, hey, we have a couple of students with darker skin. Can we start having a conversation about maybe getting them into tights that match their skin tone? The thing I'm going to tangent now. I'm done with the book review. The thing I'm worried about is that my students who are colored the way I am are then going to say, well, then I need to wear my flesh colored tights, and then they'll all end up in like these brown, they wear like these deep brown competition tights that are supposed to make your legs look tanned. And it's like, guys, especially going into our spring semester where we come back to school in January, your skin isn't that color. You need to stay, I don't know, I don't want it to turn into my lighter skinned students using it as an excuse to wear whatever color they feel, because I know kids will do this, whatever color they feel matches them. It's got to be an honest attempt at matching skin tone. And I just want to say right now also, I'm really grateful to companies like Gaynor Mendon and Sancha. Those are the two that are at the top of my head. I know Capezio as well. They've really put an effort into point shoes, point shoe makeup, like the pancake you would use, and tights, and like the nude leotard you would wear under a costume, or the different shapes of those, whatever. Last magazine I saw, there was a whole spread out page of all these different colors of skin. So dancers with different skin tones, and then tights, leotards, shoes underneath costume type things that matched. So, I mean, that would be a really beautiful thing to see, I think. So, I know I'm not really qualified to talk about that. I want to talk about it. I want to get more qualified. But just me right here by myself, like, I maybe need a little bit of coaching on it. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to this long video. So if you liked any of these, maybe leave a comment, or if you didn't like them, or let's acknowledge that you can like a thing and it can still have stuff wrong with it, and we can talk about that. So anyway, okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Next, I will be reviewing Gail C. Kirkland's biographies. Sorry for the glare. Biography, or at least a book by Christopher Dambois, son of Jacques Dambois, and then this expose, I suppose, on the Bolshoi Ballet. And this isn't a ballet book, but it's a Russian history book, so some things here are going to overlap. So, let me know how you liked this review, and check out this review, probably coming in a couple of months, depending on how fast I can get through these.